And good morning, everyone. Just a few days ago on Yom Kippur, we read the story of a young man who became a reluctant prophet. God asked Jonah to travel to Nineveh and convince them to change their ways, to infuse their corrupt society with justice and compassion. Now, Jonah had heard of the problems in Nineveh and he wanted nothing to do with their redemption. He was angry that people could live that way. He wanted them to be punished for all of their sins. So Jonah, as we know, he tried to run away, but as the saying goes, man plans and God laughs. So soon, Jonah finds himself in Nineveh, and he's begrudgingly offering God's message. Upon hearing the message, the Ninevites immediately jump into action. They self-reflect. They consider the ways in which they had missed the mark. They repent and they immediately get to work in building their society based on the values of transparency and thoughtfulness, of kindness and justice and compassion. And just as Jonah predicts, God forgives them. We know this angers Jonah because Jonah isn't yet ready to forgive. He favors punishment over compassion. As the story comes to an end, we're left with a cliffhanger. Jonah walks east of the city of Nineveh. He makes a booth and sits in the shade as he watches from afar. We don't actually know if Jonah comes to appreciate God's wisdom or develop his ability to be compassionate. All we know is that he creates a booth, a sukkah, in which to sit and to reflect. Just a few days after Yom Kippur, we too sit in a sukkah to reflect on our Yom Kippur experience. What have we learned? What do we wish to work on within ourselves? Will we take the messages of the holiday with us as we begin a new year? Sukkot is a temporary stopping point between Yom Kippur and the year ahead. It's a place of uncertainty and vulnerability. Most of us would rather avoid the discomfort of being in between, yet our tradition implores us to do so anyway. The Torah teaches that we should live in huts for 7 days so that we connect to our ancestors who dwelt in booths when God brought them out of Egypt. From Jacob to Job, the Tanakh describes the many Sukkot that our ancestors have enjoyed on their way to the Promised Land. The Sukkah may be temporary, but it is a sacred place that reminds us that growth happens not in places of comfort and convenience, but in moments of transition. Consider a lobster. Very kosher, I know. A lobster is this soft animal that is protected only by its rigid shell. The shell can expand, but the lobster itself grows. And when the shell becomes too confining, the lobster has a choice. It can remain inside the shell, pressured and confined, or it can emerge, casting off its protective shell and producing a new one. This process is extremely uncomfortable and even scary as the lobster hides beneath rocks, but it allows the lobster to live and to thrive. It's said that God best hears our prayers at sunrise and at twilight, in the places of in between. God gave us the Torah when we wandered in the wilderness. Growth and blessings come when we are willing to sit in a place of transition and even discomfort for the sake of creating a more promising future. I'd like to believe that from the sukkah, Jonah came to develop a sense of compassion for his fellow human beings, and that this growth allowed him to live a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Tonight, we will gather to rejoice within our temple sukkah. Whether rain or shine, let's embrace the beauty of its symbolism. Its transitory nature is a gift. And if we allow ourselves to truly dwell within it, we will come out stronger, perhaps a bit more compassionate, and better for having done so. Shabbat Shalom. I look forward to seeing you later.